Hello, everyone. Sat Sangat Astrology here. Welcome back. If you have already subscribed to my channel and you are following me, thank you for coming back and welcome newcomers. And I hope you stay and watch the video and find out my ideas about this Leo new moon. I will also speak about the triple conjunction Mars, Uranus, and North Node and in Taurus. A little bit more because I already spoke about it in the previous video where I spoke about the second half of July. But it was a long video, so I decided to do a separate one for the Leo new moon. So here it is, and I hope you contact me and stay in touch with me. Here's my blog that I write every so often in Facebook and Instagram, MeWe and Tumblr. And here at the bottom, you find my email in case you like to contact me personally for a consultation. So thank you so much for being here, and I'll get started with the Leo new moon. Just clarifying that I do tropical astrology, and this chart is starting at 0 Aries, right? Is for everyone. It's not location sensitive, so it is the same chart for everyone around the world. So first thing that is remarkable is the fixed and fire, right? Is fixed energy fire. So we have here a lot of inspiration, a lot of movement, a lot of fire, right? And there is no need to remind us that there is the danger of fire, especially in the northern hemisphere of the world, where the summer is so hot, especially here in the United States and Western Europe, where we have fires that are out of control, right? And that is certainly due to this Mars and Uranus transit in Taurus, the sign of the Earth. So the Leo new moon happens at 5 degrees 39 minutes of Leo. And there are a couple of aspects that I would like to point out and analyze and explain what it means, at least from my point of view. And there are not too many. I will review, as I said, more information about Mars, Uranus, and North Node conjunction. I think that we are already preparing for that conjunction. I will address that later on. Let's dive into the new moon in Leo. It is happening July 28th, 2022, midday here in central United States. And it is conjunct Ceres. So it's also in trine to Jupiter and in novile to Mars. And this is an aspect that is not commonly used, but sometimes when it is significant, like in this case, this is the start of the moon cycle for this month of July, August, let's say. Then since I consider it to be very significant, I will dive into that and give you my point of view, my interpretation, because it is important. So let's get started with the sun and the moon. Of course, in Leo, there is this great enthusiasm, this urge to create, to enjoy. It's in the northern hemisphere is the middle of the summer, right, where it's the hottest and is the most summer that a summer can be. in the southern hemisphere is the middle of the winter, where there is the more winter you can get. So and the sun and the moon are joining together, starting a new cycle for 28.5 days until the end of August, right? So this cycle will be all about finding joy, finding happiness, and creativity, and enjoying life, right? However, this conjunction with Ceres, for example, it's interesting because a few days before, let's see, let's animate it to, no, let's do, edit the chart. Let's do July 18 and see what it gives me. So July 18, Ceres and Mercury here are in Cancer, at the end of Cancer, and they are both opposing Pluto. And so it's Monday, the 18th of July. It's already, today is Sunday, so it's tomorrow. I think this is very significant because, of course, opposing Pluto, powerful Pluto, it could be all about death and sometimes crime and secret dealings and obscure, shadowy things. And one thing to remember about Ceres, she has about 4.5 years of orbit around the sun. The orbit is between Mars and Jupiter. Ceres is considered the biggest asteroid known so far. And that's why it, as an asteroid, is very significant. But in this case, this opposition to Pluto is also very significant because if you remember the, let me choose a new share. If you remember the January 12, let's see, January 12, 2020, where we had this conjunction, multiple conjunction. Oftentimes, astrologers say it's Saturn-Pluto conjunction, but as you can see here, the sun is pretty close, almost at 22 degrees as well. Ceres is exactly at 22, and Mercury is barely moving onto the 23rd degree. So here, 23 degree. So we have 4 bodies conjunction. And now 2 years later, let's go back to that one. Let's go back to the new moon, right? We have Ceres opposing Pluto. So we can consider the archetype, right, of Ceres as being involved in this start of the pandemic that triggered the whole transformation of the structures in society and geopolitics and in politics in general, and the structures of the security in society, right? And here we have like the culmination, the highest point in the cycle of Ceres and Pluto. So we know the sun is also about to oppose Pluto as well. So we have a triple opposition. Mercury, as I showed you, was involved in the conjunction in 2020. So we have here, I think Mercury has done 3 cycles so far, or maybe more. I don't remember exactly, around the sun, right? And the sun, of course, 2 cycles around the sun. So we have the sun for the second time, Ceres for the first time, and Mercury maybe third time opposing Pluto. Now, I was going back to this book by Dimitra George about asteroid goddesses, where she, one of the chapters is about Ceres. And there are many significations for Ceres according to mythology and astrology. So it's considered the great mother, right? And she is not only the great mother as creating, as mothering and nurtured and teacher, but she is also a master of death and rebirth. Why? Well, there are some practice of magical life. She has a special section about the magical life that Ceres is the Lord, or the female master, and she is also the goddess of death and dying, right? Because of the her trip to the underworld, trying to rescue her daughter, who supposedly was dead down in the underworld with Pluto, right? So she has a special relationship with Pluto, right? That is not very pleasant. So here Dimitra George speaks about death and dying for Ceres, the principles of Ceres, and also she has a special section, as I said, for occult teachings of Ceres. And it says that Ceres, as a goddess of death, functions as the matrix which receives the dead for rebirth, right? So we can say that in Capricorn, together with Saturn and Pluto, etc., she mastered the death, right, the pandemic. But now it was for the purpose of rebirth, like Pluto also, except that Ceres is kind of the feminine archetype of death and rebirth. And why? Is because the entrance to rebirth is through the womb of the woman. So that Ceres, as mother, whose blood provides the nourishment for the fertilized eggs and fetus, rules over women's blood transformation mysteries. And which ones are those mysteries? Well, the first mystery is that of menstruation. The second mystery is that of pregnancy. And the third mystery is the transformation of the mother's blood into the child nourishing milk that provides the foundation for the primordial mysteries of food transformation, right? So she rules nourishment, and she rules over life and death and rebirth as well. So as the feminine archetype. So I think it's important to consider that this opposition is now marking like the culmination, the highest point in the cycle of Ceres with Pluto, especially. So let's go back to let's see, we have the new moon here. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, so here we are with the new moon, a new cycle of the moon and the sun, mother and father, starting a new cycle, right? It will culminate in Aquarius with the full moon. But it's curious that they start with series, just 3 degrees apart. So the sun and the moon also make a perfect novile with Mars. And what is a novile? A novile is a binovile, in fact. The novile is 40-degree angle aspect, and the binovile is 80-degree angle. And in this case, it's just exact, almost by a few minutes. So I think it's important to consider that, because the binovile is as karmic as the novile, and it comes with a certain probably brutal intervention, a challenge, something that requires us to develop ideas, make plans, learn skills, and take personal responsibility and autonomy in order to create a new situation with heightened awareness. So it is karmic is required, is considered to be a karmic aspect, right? Why? Because there is some event or something that Mars is marking here in Taurus. It could be related it could be some cattle illness, for example. It could be some disturbance or violence or difficulties in the distribution of food. It could also be anything that has to do, especially so close to Uranus, with a natural catastrophe of any kind on the Earth, on the surface of the Earth especially. Not so much in the waters, but on the surface of the solid Earth. So, and that could be really something that we need to awake and take responsibility for the Earth and for the natural processes of life, right? It could be just something karmic or fated that requires you to that overpowers you and requires you to react, right? But at the same time, submit to the situation in a way that you feel powerless and hopeless, and there's nothing you can do to avoid it, right? Suppose that is a mudslide. You cannot hold it with a finger. Suppose that there is an earthquake, right? Well, there's nothing we can do. And sometimes in crisis so important, human beings are paralyzed and we don't know how to move. We are stuck, and sometimes what happens is that we are inhibited into doing something because we don't know what to do. We might feel blocked and astonished at the images or the events. And we may just not be able to do anything in considering that is so out of control, of the human control. So we may be passive and think, well, there's nothing we can do about it. But at the same time, you are dependent on that event, and you can't avoid it. The only way out is through, right? Applying a higher consciousness and understanding in order to develop as human beings, right? And develop this great potential that we have. Sometimes shocks and events that are dangerous and challenging for humans are the ones that exactly triggered us into developing and becoming better, right? And I think we are at a point where there are so many things happening on Earth that are opening our eyes about things that we are doing wrong to the Earth and to the very source of our sustenance, Taurus. So then Rudyard explains the novile and binoval by saying that it's a process of pregnancy which enables an idea or form to become or it organically viable. And I repeat, is a process of pregnancy which, of course, figuratively, right, which enables us an idea or form to become organically viable. And again, process of pregnancy, which enables an idea or form to become organically viable. So it's usually a binovile is like an end of a cycle and the birth of a new one that goes very well with the symbolism of series. So it demands that we awaken to a higher consciousness and a broader awareness of things, that we become that we understand things, the processes of life more thoroughly. So definitely it is going to be a life-changing situation with a great potential for creativity. Leo and the sun here with the moon, it's a great potential for creativity and for betterment, for becoming better stewards of the earth and nature. Right, the event or the situation could be constrictive, it could be limiting, it could be devastating as well. So at the same time, we have the trine to Jupiter here. It's applying 3 degrees apart. So it is intense, especially because Jupiter doesn't show here, but it is a stationary retrograde. This means that Jupiter will be at 8 degrees for some time. So if this challenge of the novile to Mars can be sorted out, we may enjoy this kindness, this generosity, consideration, optimistic outlook, and prosperity, because we may change the direction, right? The trine is a flow of energy that helps us to change directions easily. So it could also be some important births, right? Sun and moon in Leo. It could be cultural creativity because of Jupiter. And it could be that there is a problem, a financial problem also. Mars is also the traditional ruler of Scorpio. So it is also talking here about investments, about mortgages and banking. So we may change our relationship with money and currency, and even the value of currency may shift in different ways. We will already see the inflation, but I think there could be also because of this conjunction with Uranus in the North Node in Taurus, there could be a deflation of liberation of debt, especially the debt, the big debt, and the big world banking system. So as I said, we are able to change our relationship with our values, with money, possessions, with the resources of the earth. And we may even change our attitude with food. For example, here we have Taurus, the sign of cattle, right? And more people are stopping eating beef, right? So it could increase because of some event, right? There is in Europe, there are farmers protesting because of new measures that affect them in their endeavors in the growth and handle and management of cattle. So, and the business of cattle. So it's very significant, and I think we may see news about farming. Taurus is farming, is cattle raising, and all that productivity, especially production for the sustenance of life. So there could be new ways of working the land. Also, we have Mercury at 18 degrees squaring Uranus at 18 degrees and the North Node, and just 2.5 degrees from Mars orb, from Mars. So Mercury in square with Uranus is thought interrupted, right? So the flow of thinking gets interrupted, and the person is unable to focus mentally, the mental energy. And there could be sudden changes of ideas, right? As I said, we may suddenly change what we think about values, about money, as I said. And there could be impractical thinking, eccentric decisions, or decisions that are impracticable. Mental interference on all the time, sporadic communications, even interruptions in the flow of communications, like there could be internet hacking or cyber war attacks. And it's interesting because here the knowledge that Mercury may have or Uranus may have here may not follow a logical thread, right? Or it may not be applied in a logical manner. The thinking, the mental work may be interrupted by unexpected events. There could be difficulty organizing the ideas, and definitely is an aspect for impulsivity, nervousness, anxiety, and not knowing what is the right idea to use, or the good information. Sometimes there could be messages that we don't know exactly what they mean, and we may jump to conclusions based on faulty information, and not having a good understanding of what is going on. So there could be disruptions, and also lack of decision making, because we don't have a certainty about the data, for example. And also it could be plans that could be disrupted, schedules could be disrupted. For example, if there is a cyber attack, right, of course, work schedules could be disrupted. And there could be also conflicts in groups of people, and your friends, for example, may show up with quirky ideas and or attitudes, right? And your communication devices may go nuts and may start acting up. And there could be accidents in short trips, etc. So this is a very disruptive square and this is all about the new moon chart. I don't think there is much juice to extract here, but I think that the sun is in his house and the moon is burned there, so women may not have a great time. So let's move to the Saturn. Let's see. Saturn. Let's see. Here is the chart of July 22nd, 2022. And I wanted to show you this because the moon is conjunct Uranus already. And this could be time where we can see some events or something may happen in the house where you have Taurus, you have the house where you have 18 degrees. Something may happen that will be just a foreteller of what will happen later on with the conjunction, the triple conjunction. So mark your calendar, July 22nd, and this is 1:15 a.m. So now I will go to the chart for the proper conjunction on August 1st. And this happens at 11:40 p.m. Central Time here. You adjust accordingly to your place of living. Again, we have a very cardinal fire chart. We have 9 points of cardinal and 7 of fire. So we have changes in beliefs, changes in actions, changes in initiation, changes in authorities. So we have the triple conjunction at 18 degrees of Taurus. In my previous video where I spoke about the second half of July, I even shared the chart of the last time this conjunction happened in Taurus. It was before Christ. So I invite you to go back. I am just going to do highlights here. We have the moon at 0 degree Libra. As you know, 0 degree Libra is one of the cardinal points, and it's very, very important. So now to review just the highlights, I mentioned that the 18 degree is according to Nicholas Stojanovic, is the bad luck degree. So we can expect things not to be very comfortable for us. There could be unknown, unexpected events, very sudden, very weird, and something that we really don't know, but it could be also potentially revelatory, meaning that we could have a revelation. We may not understand it because it's Uranus after all, but it could be liberating in some way. So, and it could be something out of the context that we consider normal, regular, within the limits of our mind. Again, it could be something that is unconventional and something that is not very comfortable, as I said. And I explained before about it could be natural disasters of any kind on the earth, like volcano eruptions, earthquakes. It could be even wind destruction, like, because Uranus is wind, and wind and earth don't match very well. So it could be tornadoes, very destructive tornadoes, and natural catastrophes by fire. So the North Node intensifies. Remember that is the North Node is the point where the eclipses happen. So and not only that, but Mars at 18 degrees 16 minutes is opposing its own planetary South Node in Scorpio. The south node of Mars is at 18 degrees 16 minutes Scorpio. So it is opposing, meaning that the south node of the moon is conjuncting the south node of Mars. So I think we are going back to some codependence, financial problems, debt, right? We are excreting and liberating from debt, some sort. As I said, there could be not only volatility in the financial markets, but as well as the collapse of the whole banking system. I've been telling this since I first spoke about the North Node in Taurus and the South Node in Scorpio. I think I can put the link in the description below so you read more about the axis of Scorpio Taurus. But why is it so significant being in the 18 degrees? Well, Uranus will be at the 18 degrees for a long time, since July 19 to October 12. And it will be planted there because it's turning retrograde at 18 degrees in a few minutes. So almost at 19 degrees is when it turns backwards. So for let's see, August, September, October, 3 months it will be planted at 18 degrees. So this is not something that will happen in one day. This is something that Uranus is digging in very, very strongly. And it is at 18 degrees where with Uranus and Saturn will be squaring just in 37-minute orb. And they will both be at 18 degrees, except that the minutes will be different. And that will happen, the last almost square will happen October 6 and 7. And Uranus will retrograde on August 24. And not only that, but Uranus, of course, is coming back direct next year, and it will travel through the 18 degree again from the 24th of April to the 10th of May, 2023. So we will have and Uranus will be a 3-degree orb from the 18 degree up until July 6, 2023. So we have 1 year of this triple conjunction effect, practically 1 year, right? So it's not something that will happen just one day and tomorrow we'll forget about it. No, this is something that will be built upon day. And as I explained in my previous video, it could be issues about values, bankruptcy, the collapse or liberation of the debt. It could be cattle illnesses, it could be farm mortgages problems, internet cyber attack, collapse of energy sources and distribution that we already see it. It could be the collapse of or sudden changes in the food distribution. And remember that Uranus is separative, meaning that if Taurus falls in a relational house, the first, the fourth, the fifth, the seventh, the third, the 10th, the 11th, the houses where you relate to someone else, it could be separation, right? It could mean divorce in the 7th house. It could be separation from siblings in the 3rd house, etc. So it is a separative position. Okay, I think I explained everything except the ruler of Taurus is Venus, and Venus is in Cancer. So with this, we're looking for safety, for security, for protection, for nourishment, right? Protection, especially of our the resources that give us safety and its sustainability to life. So we need to be careful about this. We need to be aware of what is going on, because especially reflect on our personal charts, the position where this triple conjunction occurs, and also the new moon. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to contact me or comment in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.